Today we're looking at 10 fan-made DBD perks made by you guys. There's almost an unlimited amount of perk ideas for a game like DBD, and that's why I love making these type of videos. Wait, when is the last time I made this kind of video?
Hell no.
But let's not think about that. I had a community post and I asked you guys, what are some of your perk ideas? And I got some really good suggestions back, so I'm gonna share them with everybody else. But right before we get into it, let me just say that these perks are for fun and not to be taken so seriously. It's not that serious. Nobody behavior is gonna watch this video and make all these perks into the game. I don't want nobody going into overanalyzation. Make sure our Lord and Savior Darva doesn't see this video. And two, strength of the perk really doesn't matter. I mean, I prefer you guys to leave a perk idea that would be borderline OP, like release Kaneki or Blight for the last like 5 years, you know, that kind of OP. But again, it's the idea of the perk that matters and the originality, not really the strength. These aren't real perks. They're not in Dead by Daylight. They'll never be in Dead by Daylight, so there's no need to treat them like that. Anyways, I'm procrastinating getting into the video. Let's get into these ideas and I hope you guys enjoy the video. Road to 10,000 subs. At 1, we have Hux Lee, and they say, well, I have a bunch of Metroid related perks, so I'll guess I use a couple of them. Survivor perk, Mini Metroid. As a Chevy Tahoe, you learned how to create the perfect life form. After repairing 35% of a generator, this perk activates. Entering a locker and pressing the secondary ability button will craft a mini Metroid. If you throw this within 12 meters of the killer, it will gravitate towards the killer, eventually lashing onto them. When a mini Metroid is on the killer, they are hindered by 5% and given the blindness status effect. The mini Metroid will fall off after 60 seconds or until the killer gets stunned. The killer can only have one mini Metroid on them at a time. I am loving this fucking idea. I'm always a fan of perks that I can use just for, you know, doing my objective W, but a 5% hinder and blindness for a whole minute, that's a long time, like very long. And the only way for the killer to get rid of it is to let the survivor stun them or wait the whole minute. So maybe a killer will try to get you to stun them, which gives you extra distance. Yeah, I kind of like it. W perk idea. This person does have more than one perk idea, which I never usually do in these videos, but I didn't get too many people send stuff in, so who cares? This perk idea, I give this a 10 out of 10. Let's go to the second perk, which the same person also sent in. Chozo Cholo knowledge. Being a Cholo gives you the ability to sense auras of living beings. After unlocking a chest or cleansing a totem, this perk activates. While active, healing a survivor will give you constant skill checks. However, each skill check you hit reveals the killer's aura to both you and the one you are healing. After healing a survivor, this perk deactivates. Now, I'm not gonna lie, this is another banger idea. I like this perk idea, but I think it would be a better perk if it didn't have to be deactivated after you use it just once. Maybe after a second use, or if it stayed on the whole rest of the match, yo, that would be crazy good. Or if it worked after unhooking, that would be really disgusting. Wall hacks for both of you on the killer just for healing. Oh, no, that's tough. 8 out of 10. Now we got power is everything. It's a killer perk. After downing a survivor, this perk activates for 20 seconds. While this perk is active, any survivor who attempts to repair a generator or is actively repairing a generator screams, reveals their location to you, and gains the blindness status effect for 30 seconds. Any survivor who tries to repair a generator after they scream by any means will face continuous skill checks while repairing one, and if they miss a skill check, they scream and reveal their location to you. This perk is crazy. Literally just the information for downing the survivor for other survivors across the map would probably be good enough for a perk on its own. And I'm always for perks like Merciless Storm that makes doing a pretty boring objective somewhat, you know, stimulating to your brain. So not only would this perk benefit killers for getting downs to give them hella information, but it'll make doing gens just a little bit more engaging. I feel like I can't watch any unedited survivor gameplay unless Subway Surfers is playing on the side. And as I said before, the information from this perk is good. Solid perk idea. I'm very generous when it comes to giving out my scores for perks. This is another 10 out of 10. And number 4, we got Hex Pirate's Sense. As a space pirate, you gain the ability to sense when something valuable was near or something that could be used for war. When this hex is up, you see the auras of survivors further than 40 meters from you. If a survivor tries to cleanse his totem for the first time, they scream and alert you of their location. I'm not gonna lie, this might just be perk of the day. Infinite information until the hex is broken. What would be the point of this perk anymore? But wall hacks from across the map is absurdly strong, and honestly, I want this perk to actually be considered. I'm not even gonna lie to you. Some kind of perk like this anyways. Like Predator gives you walls on the person you lost if you were in chase with them, and it has a long ass cooldown. Make it work on all the survivors when you lose chase, and if you care about balancing, make it so it doesn't work on survivors that you've already hooked. If we just gave this effect to Predator, whenever you lose chase, you can see everybody outside your terror radius, it would be a much better perk. So if you do lose chase, you can find a survivor you haven't hooked yet. It seems like a good change to me, but it's still a fire perk idea. Having infinite wall hacks based on a hex perk, and whenever they try to cleanse it, it lets you know, and you probably have wall hacks on them because they're far away. Yeah, this perk is great. I love it. I'm not gonna lie. 10 out of 10. I'm giving out too many 10 out of 10s, bro. I need to chill out. At 5, we have Dr. Golden Gaming, who says, we need a perk that makes you see hatch. Like when you get tokens like hitting survivors or something, and when you reach the token goal, the killer will be able to see the hatch when they get close to it or something. Basically, it'll be left behind, but for killer. Listen, don't get me wrong, it's a good idea overall, but this perk would almost never get picked, fam. It's the same reason why Left Behind is one of the least picked perks in the game. But when it comes to Survivor, you don't bring it because you only get value if you're losing the game, and the hatch spawning next to you and not the killer is just luck, and there's a range limit. And for killer, you only get value if you win the game, whereas you could just bring a different perk that'll help you win the game. Bringing this perk would just make your end game harder, but it's just not that great for all the reasons that Left Behind isn't that great. It's still a solid idea though. I just feel like perks around the hatch aren't ever good perks, you know what I'm saying? I'm giving it a 3.5 out of 10. At 6, we have Hex Scoops, who says, I have a few Survivor perk ideas from Elder Scrolls Online's Necromancer. Alright, let's go over a few of them. Boon, hexproof. You embrace the power of death to assist your allies when their time draws near. Once you bless a totem, this perk activates. You gain the ability to cleanse the totem with this perk applied to it. While this totem is standing, you and your allies recover from negative status effect 20% faster. And when you cleanse this totem, it explodes, immediately removing all negative status effects and pausing the killer's hex for 60 seconds. Now this perk is busted, I'm not gonna lie. It's kind of like Vigil, but instead of somebody needing to be by you, they just have to be by the hex. And I think that's a fair trade because Vigil, you don't have to activate it, it's just active all like throughout the whole game. And as I said, we don't care about balance, so let's just say it stacks with Vigil. Holy shit. Pausing whatever hex the killer has for 60 seconds. Alright, this needs hashed out a little bit. It seems way too OP, but I fucking love it. These are the perks that I want to hear. These are the perks that we need in Dead by Daylight. Okay, no it's not, but still, I love the idea. I'm not gonna lie, this perk's a 10 out of 10. Boon, reusable parts. You find ways to make use of broken totems and you bring back support when it's needed. Yo, that's a fire line, I'm not gonna lie. You see the aura of all broken totems in the trial. Approaching the totem allows you to rebuild the totem. This takes 10 seconds. Upon completing, you instantly bless the totem and apply all blessings to it. While this boon is active, you and your allies see the aura of the killer if they're in the totem's range. When the totem is snuffed, the totem breaks and you cannot rebuild it. Now the thing that makes this perk really good is the wall hex on the killer, bro. If you find a nasty totem spot near a gen or it's like a 2-story building, then the killer's pretty much cooked. But needing to break a totem and then rebuilding it just takes time off of doing gens with one good effect, which mobility killers, aka the strongest killers in the game, have no problem going out of their way to break it anyways. And as it says in the perk idea, once they break it, you can't put it back up on the same totem. So it's still a really good idea. It's just, it should be a regular boon perk and not a rebuilding one. I give this perk a 6.5 out of 10. 8 from Jinx DBD, Sinister Switch. Whenever a survivor takes a protection hit, the survivor being protected gets a 30% haste effect for 4 seconds, but the survivor taking the protection hit is hindered 30% for 4 seconds. I love this perk idea. Honestly, this is what Forced Penance should have been. Literally, if they add this effect to Forced Penance, people would actually run that perk. That perk would be worth running for once. Nothing makes me more heated than when I'm playing killer than unnecessary body blocks. I don't mean like I'm tunneling and getting body blocked. I mean, they're just body blocking because I'm chasing a survivor I just injured. Like, bro, let us finish our chase. Or when all the survivors are hiding, so then I accidentally tunnel one and have to come back to hook because there's nobody else in the match all of a sudden. Nobody wants to do generators. And people are trying to body block. Like, where were you when I was looking for you? Anyways, I love this idea. Add it to Forced Penance. 10 out of 10 idea. I love it. Now we're at perk 9 and 10. They're both by Dark NPC Carl. Thank you for these submissions. First, we got Lethal Arms. When you are stunned, gain a token. Whenever you gain a token, a random pallet will drop and become a fallen pallet. If a survivor vaults that pallet, they will be hindered by 20% for 6 seconds. The effect will remain longer by 1 second for each token you have. They can't hurt you, but you can't hurt them. I love this perk idea mainly because I don't be respecting pallets unless I'm playing like Houndmaster because I want to use the dog to play around it. It's often just more beneficial to take the stun and just get rid of the pallet, but getting stunned and making a random pallet drop in the map, and then when a survivor vaults when they get hindered, I would go on a win streak with Nemesis so quick. But then if survivors guess you have this perk, or you're chasing a survivor and they stun you, and one of their teammates calls out, yo, a pallet just fell, you know, they could just call it out and they'll just start pre-dropping pallets. But still, a survivor getting a crazy 20% hinder, that would be nasty. I don't know about meta, but the idea of the perk is absolutely fire. I would give this one a 10 out of 10 because I feel like this perk would fit my playstyle perfectly. And in case you're wondering, yes, that is me in the perk icon that I made. I told you this, I would run this perk if it was a thing, so why not put myself in it? Because like I'm literally Goku Black. I mean, I'm black, but I'm not Goku. All right, before we get into number 1, let me say that none of these perks are in order, although number 1 is the only one in order, I guess, because I think it's the best / most original idea out of the ones that are in the video. And if I didn't get your idea in this, it can easily be put in another part. Just try to make the perk as unique and strong as you can and put them down in the comments below. I might not respond to it very fast, and it might be a little bit before another video like this comes out. But if your perk idea is amazing, who knows? I might put 20 perks in the next video. You never know. All right, now let's get into perk number 1. New perk type, Incantations. Incantations are perks that act like curses. Created from the entity, these curses are incorporeal in nature and do not have a physical being. These curses will hinder survivors and help killers. To activate incantations, the killer must perform a ritual in the basement that takes 20 seconds. Oh, so it's kind of like a invocation? Is that what it's called? But it's incantation. Incantations will then activate for 120 seconds and then deactivate again. Unlike invocations, incantations are not a one-time use and can be activated again. Incantation playtime. When a survivor is unhooked, they are unable to become healthy and you gain undetectable for 30, 40, 50 seconds. You had your run, but now you're done. No hate to you, but we gotta work on these one-liners, man. Now listen, the idea of the perk is amazing. However, you made this perk just a little bit too niche with the effects. Must be in basement, not guarding gens, not in chase, not pressuring people. Then it only activates for 2 minutes. Then you would have to leave basement, hit a survivor, down a survivor, hook them, and they have to get unhooked within 120 seconds. Then they have to be unhooked and then they can't be healed and shit. Wait. Does this mean that they can't be healed for the rest of the game? Wait, hold on a minute. If it works like that, then this would be insane. Now it makes much more sense if it works like that. Performing a ritual, giving up pressure, and having a time limit where you have to get the hook and you're rewarded by them being one-shot the whole game, that would be nasty. It would still be more of a noob stomper perk, and survivors can still just gen rush and not heal. But against any killer that isn't just a plain old M1 killer, this would be nasty. Imagine being perma injured against Spirit. Bro, you're guaranteed to fucking lose. If this is the way the perk was supposed to work, then this perk idea is amazing, and then this would be perk of the video, I'm not gonna lie. If not, then it's still a great idea, but it's just way too niche. If it's the, if it's the other way around. But the originality of this perk is amazing. I want to give it a 10 out of 10, but the stipulations are just a little bit too rough on certain killers. Like a bunch of killers will never be able to get the value out of this perk. The only way your killer could get value out of this perk is if they're insanely OP in chase. So maybe if you made it less niche, or if you just made it so whenever a survivor gets hooked in that 120-minute time frame, they can't be healed for the rest of the trial, and maybe bump it up to like 140 seconds, 150 seconds, and I think the perk is perfect. And yeah, those are 10 fan-made Dead by Daylight perks. I hope you guys really loved hearing these ideas. I love hearing these ideas. So as I said earlier, if you have perks ideas, put them down in the comments below. In the future, I will make another part. I'll make a part 2. Also, don't make fun of me of any of the icons for the perk. I literally went on my phone and made each one in like 2 minutes. And yeah, put perks ideas below, I'll do a part 2. By the time I'm recording this video, we are 60 subs away from 7,000. And 7,000 is close to 7,500. And 7,500 is close to 100 million. So why not consider subscribing, because we are on the road to 10K. Thank you guys. Other than that, I hope you guys enjoyed the video and I hope you have a good day.
It started when we were younger.